free throw line here for two, 57-52. You chat with Chris Finch every week.
Yeah.
What's impressed you about him?
His humility, his honesty, his vulnerability. And Chris and I hit it off immediately when he got here because we're about the same age.
Yeah.
And we're both kind of old school NBA snobs. I'm from Washington, D.C. He's from Philly. So we remember 79 when Dick Motta said the opera ain't over till the fat lady sings. And we're playing World Be Free and Dr. J. And we got Elvin Hayes and Kevin Creevy. And, a heck of a series back then. And we just have a lot of memories from East Coast basketball in days gone by. Hey, Chris, Paul Allen, what's going on?
Hey, PA, how are you?
Pretty good. I had the honor of joining Alan Horton Friday night for a quarter of your game against Orlando, and he asked me, Finchy joined you weekly. What do you think? And that's what I said. And, then after near the end of it with Dick Motta and that 79 series against your Sixers, because it's 2024, man, I actually thought for a second, can I say the opera ain't over till the fat lady sings without looking at Twitter and dealing with it for an hour? But you remember when he said that, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah, absolutely. So, Alan told me yesterday. I didn't realize you had been on, and he was in awe of your energy. He said, I can't believe he stands for the whole game. I said, yeah, that's what football guys do. They stand up to call the game, not like you wimpy basketball guys.
Yeah, I was so excited. I talked way too much. I told him after that if we do this again, then we'll treat it a different way. But I was just hyperactivity in a bottle. And I got a chance to say Ich heiss Franz, you better know my name. I think I dropped a France is better than Germany a line when Gobert did something to one of the Wagners. Then I'm thinking man, is that going to piss? So anyway, it was so much fun, man. I just loved it. I thank Alan and the team for letting me do it, and I can't wait for the next opportunity. And here's Chris, courtesy of Prize Picks, Daily Fantasy Made Easy, Second Harvest Heartland, and twoharvest.org. Allison, everybody else, thank you guys for that. And Chris's Wolves beat the Rockets yesterday, moving to 35-15. That's the best record for the Minnesota Timberwolves after 50 games since the 03-04 squad, which went to the Western Conference Finals. And then now we have the All-Star Game situation. You've been to St. Elmo's, right, for that awesome shrimp cocktail, haven't you?
Oh yeah, many times, absolutely. Looking forward to it. I think we have a back room on Saturday night, all reserved already.
Oh wow, for the staff and everything.
Yeah, all credit to Jake Vernon, our head of ticket sales here. He worked in Indiana for a while, so he's got the inside connection.
Who picks up that tab? The NBA, Alex, Mark, or Ryan Tanke?
I can tell you who's not picking up that tab. I don't know where it's going to land, but I can tell you who's not picking it up.
I'm glad in your press conference after dusting the Rockets, you shared that they poured water on you like the Gatorade bath, because after that third quarter and you guys held them to fewer than 30 points every single quarter, which is an accomplishment specifically this time of the year in the NBA when teams are going for 150 and you got guys scoring 60 seemingly on a daily basis. I was happy to hear that you were doused with water because, you looked, you couldn't have been that sweaty and all wound up or anything.
That was fun. It was a fun moment. I think, all credit to the guys. They knew it was at stake for the staff and obviously the organization. Going into the game, and you try to put these things out of your mind, but over the last week or so, they really kind of take on a life of their own. And when we didn't win against Orlando, which would have sealed the deal, put a lot of added pressure on that game. And the guys played well, and they played like we had played for the bulk of the season, which is what I'm most pleased about. That was kind of a signature win for us. We had big third quarters. It was really good to see Anthony, kind of back with one of his special games where he can really just take over like we know he can at the perfect time. And so it's a lot to be happy about. I can't thank the guys enough for helping deliver this for the staff and for the organization. And quite honestly, I'm glad it's out of the way, just because it's just kind of sitting there, and it would be a disappointment not to have gone, haven't put yourself in a position to do it. And I mean, I would love a fishing trip to Florida as much as anyone, but this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you want to always grasp those when they're there for you.
Well, I mean, after the game, you said it hadn't set in, at least as of last night. And a day later, I mean, okay, maybe it set in a little bit more, but I mean, you got a 5-game roadie coming up to the All-Star break. You're trying to fix things on a daily basis, amplify what's good, and that's the A topic. So if it hasn't set in, I mean, it may not set in until you bite into that St. Elmo shrimp.
Well, it set in a little bit last night. I mean, I probably had 250 text messages that I had to kind of get through and get back to people, and which is always great because just everyone's so happy and proud. It means a lot, and like that, sometimes you don't realize kind of the context of these things when you're in them all the time, and you're trying to kind of emotionally distance yourself from them so you can focus on your job, but. And then I got a text from a buddy of mine today. He kind of went through the roster of the West. He said everybody's a first ballot Hall of Famer darn near on that. And I'm like, golly, he's right. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I don't think it'll set in until I walk out there for that, first quasi practice and just, be with these guys. So, and some of them, of course, I know, haven't been in the league, and some of them I coached, and some of them I don't know at all. And I'm just looking forward to, that experience too, just to get to know them.
Well, I mean, you team 35-15, best record around here in 20 years since MB3 with Spree, Cassell, and Kevin Garnett. I mean, so you're making your mark as a head coach here for sure, you and your staff. But I mean, you can really take that to another level with this All-Star game, man. If you want to make your mark, tight game, minute and a half to go. Sit LeBron, sit KD, use Edwards, use Karl Anthony Towns, and let's see how Stephen A. Smith handles that one.
Yeah, I don't know how much courage I have for that kind of stuff, but hey, we'll see. We'll see. So
maybe you get lucky and they'll all get in foul trouble except for Ant and/or Cat. Now, any idea? Just quickly, last one on this. Any idea how one coaches an All-Star game? I mean, your friend Mike Malone had a heck of a time with it last year.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure I will definitely check in with some of my buddies who have done it before. I would imagine one of the first things you got to do is kind of gain or gather the information, how much, some of these guys actually want to play, and if any of them are carrying injuries and those types of things, I think would imagine form a lot of your rotations and stuff like that. So, a little bit of time to figure all that out. Next couple of days for sure are going to be exploratory when it comes to, just talking to people. Yeah,
I mean, that has to be part of it, right? I mean, it's either an obvious and then an out of respect, but I mean, I'm sure, you all have each other's numbers. I mean, seriously, you might get a text from a guy saying, hey, go easy on my guy, he has an ankle or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I know for sure that happens. And these players are so good at obviously monitoring their own situations, everything like that. So I'm sure there's, I'll be a lot of input, be drinking from a fire hose for a little while. And, but this is about the players. It always is about the players. That's always the great thing about our league. And it's a showcase for them. And, it's just an honor to be able to kind of be alongside of them.
Any idea what you're going to wear? I mean, I know most people wear sweats, but this is an opportunity, Chris, to go Jack Ramsey on it. God rest his soul. Wear bell-bottom jeans and a velour coat with a butterfly collar. Just throw it back to days gone by and dress like Jack Ramsey.
Yeah, I don't know. I would imagine that there's probably some outfit that the NBA would kind of like you to wear.
Yeah, so of course there is.
I'm waiting for the call from Big Brother.
This is Chris Finch. He's coaching the Western All-Stars. Team is 35-15. Season has been mostly fantastic. 35-15 rocks. But I mean, if you got Chris to open a vein, there probably are some losses in there for sure that he'd like to have back. But still, very, very good work through 50 and pretty nice third quarter yesterday for Anthony and the gang. I mean, after that 17-point second quarter for you guys, what played into the out of half dominance?
Couple things. I thought, thought we actually had good offense all game long, and even in the second quarter when we couldn't score, it was mostly turnovers and a few missed layups. And turnovers have plagued us all season. But these were easy to fix. It was a lot to do with spacing. Our spacing had collapsed at times, and we just spaced the ball a lot better. And then the other thing is we got Anthony going. We were able to get Brooks off his body. Great job by his teammates, screening for him, creating enough separation. Anthony picked up his decision-making. He went and attacked or shot a lot quicker. And just, those two things right there, creating the space for Anthony and then, creating the lanes to attack against the pressure were key to kind of turning it around.
All right, man. Via the Timberwolves social media sites now, I'm seeing this for the first time, the water on the head coach. And I mean, you and Anthony Edwards have a very close relationship, don't you? I mean, it's like boss, it's like surrogate family member. You listen to him talk about the way you talk about the team and talk about him, and he has so much respect for you, and I know you have a lot of respect for him, but man, you guys are really close, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. I mean, he's such a wonderful person. He's so genuine, and he cares. He really does care about everybody around him, but not just myself. He cares about his teammates, and these are not cliched things. He's like one of the few guys I've ever been. It's such superstar DNA that really cares about his teammates' success. He doesn't put himself above anybody, and he really is always giving credit to everybody around him, even when he's for sure had the game that made all the difference. And he's just honest. And I think one thing that ties us is when I got here, that was midway through his rookie year. I'm sure his head was spinning. It was a crazy year. It was COVID. He wasn't necessarily starting. He might have been in and out of the lineup, going through all the young player first year struggles you would expect. And then just, when I got here, one of my missions was this is the guy. This is this kid. We got to develop Anthony. I remember early on, we played a game. I can't remember what it was. And I just was like, I don't know. I was frustrated. And my boss at the time, he said to me, he's like, that's why you're here, man. That's why you're here. And it just put it all in perspective for me. 19-year-old, of course he's not going to know the things that we need him to know. It's my job to help bring him along. And then I just looked at it all very, very differently from that moment in time, which I knew coming in, but sometimes in the moment you lose yourself and you forget what the task really is. And that task was to develop Anthony and Carl and as a partnership. And then soon thereafter, I remember we went to Phoenix. Anthony had his first 40-point game. And from that point in time, you could see just a different belief in himself. And so I kind of go all the way back to those. And, and it's just helping him along the way, and sometimes it's hard messaging and sometimes it's, hey, we got to have more fun and I got to help you have more fun, because Anthony definitely loves to have fun. If he's not having fun, he's not the same player. And that's the modern athlete these days. They want to have fun while they're out there playing.
Wow, that was an awesome answer. Thank you very much for that, Coach. And looking at this video, I got to close this thing. I'm obsessed with this video right now because you had no idea the water bath was coming. It caught you off guard. You don't get caught off guard off that. All right, I got to turn this off. Hold on. All right, Rudy getting loose on a break for a dunk. I mean, it's a thing of beauty, isn't it? True centers love showing off those handles.
Yeah, I mean, what I love is, he's worked hard. I mean, Rudy's in many ways the driver of our season with the way that he's anchoring our defense. And offensively, I trust him. And I know sometimes he makes mistakes and turns it over. His mistakes are way louder than his successes. His successes are always going on in the background. He's always doing things to help you win. And the few times he makes a mistake, they're just loud. They just happen to be loud, but it doesn't mean that they're any worse than anyone else's. And so when he has those opportunities to get out there and capitalize on his own great work. And offensively, we trust him. So,
I mean, he's getting up and down the court like Tiny Archibald on that play I'm talking about. What if he wants to shoot some threes? How are you going to handle that?
Yeah, we might have a discussion around that one. So,
mentioned earlier, Chris, best record through 50 for the Timberwolves in 20 years at 35-15. Your trainer, Greg Farnham, your vice president of player health, and I've known Greg. I started radio here in '98. He started with the Timberwolves in 2000, and so I've known him a long time. Salt of the earth, wonderful guy, and he's been with the team nearly a quarter century, which that's anything but easy. What makes Greg good at his job?
Well, he's a people person, and he understands, how to get along with people and what they need, and he's really is kind of a pleaser by nature, like whatever it takes to kind of fill the gap or what a coach needs. He's always checking in with me. What do you guys need? How can we be better? He understands the DNA of the club. Like, I always think that's really, really important. In a big market like New York or Chicago, LA, like it's not there's a different feel to those teams, and they're way more impersonal. These smaller market teams, and that's, obviously no disrespect, because I think, we're a phenomenal market, but like these teams are built on like the, more of a community feel, if you will. People who've been involved with their team for a long time, they have incredible impact, and they understand like what it means to the community, how close the community is to the team. And guys like Greg are a conduit for that and a reminder of that. So yeah, he's just been able to fit in with like so much. He's seen so much regime change, and if you don't have those interpersonal skills, you're not surviving all that change. So it speaks highly of him.
Chris, the Orlando loss Friday night, just quickly, yeah, and it ties to yesterday, because you said in your press conference that you were kicking yourself for a couple of days for a lineup you didn't use that night. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I mean, one thing that I was concerned about, and Orlando is they're a very physical team, and they can really get after you and pressure the ball. And I just thought we needed, felt like we probably could have had another ball handler out there in Jordan McLaughlin. And J-Mac had played really well in the first stint, but I had took the bet to shorten the game and shorten the rotation and go back with our like starters a little earlier, because the game was tightening up. And that turned out to be the wrong thing, because we probably ran out of gas, and, Mike may have gotten worn down a little bit. But J-Mac would have helped that, being able to punch a gap, relieve some pressure, and, kind of just offload some of the handling, because, Suggs and Cole Anthony and those guys were really, really getting into the ball.
Yeah. And Conley yesterday. So Conley had a problem. I think missed a shot, thought he got fouled or whatever. Didn't run back as fast as he normally does, but then he ran back and got the steal. So it was serendipity, what we talk about. How do you handle the serendipity when they don't run back, Coach?
Well, I mean, Mike is always 99.5% of the time. Mike Conley does the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the play you're talking about, I actually thought he got fouled. He was super frustrated. He had been fouled on a couple plays beforehand, didn't get it. That was an exasperating moment for Mike. And every once in a while, you're going to have those. Like this isn't like a zero tolerance thing. But if we're going to sit here and nitpick like what Mike Conley does wrong, it's going to be a really, really short conversation.
I'm so glad he came back and stole that ball, because it took like 5 seconds for him to get into the screen. I'm like, come on, man. And then he came back and he stole it, and I'm like, what are you going to do about that, Finchy? This is
right, exactly.
Chris Finch, head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Western Conference All-Star coach with his staff, man. That's really cool. All right, a couple of quickies to close here. 5-game roadie over a week and a half. You guys leave for Chicago today. You got the Bulls tomorrow night. What has got, from what you know now, what has gotten into point guard Kobe White? I mean, he went from kind of a deep bench player to a little bit of a game changer with these threes, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in New Orleans, we were slated to have the 7th pick in the draft. And so that's the year we ended up winning the lottery and getting Zion. But Kobe White was probably going to go around 7. So we studied him a lot. I studied him a lot, and I loved him. I loved the pace that he played with at Carolina, and I liked his kind of size and his speed combination. But what's really kind of, really jumped up for him is his shooting. He's become such a high-level shooter, and he can shoot it from deep, and he can still play quick. And, you can just tell, like, grown into, a lot with a lot of confidence, and just he is the player that, everyone thought he could be. He just had to get there, and sometimes it takes a while. And, I think early in his career, maybe there was a coaching change or something like this too, or maybe 2 changes. I'm not sure how many he went through, and that no different than, quarterbacks and offensive coordinators. It's just every time there's a change, different people might see differently. And now he has some stability there too, and they've done a great job of really unlocking him.
Giannis, Dame, and Doc after that one, then to LA to play the Clippers, Portland to close it, then St. Elmo's. Now, with the Clippers, simply put, I mean, you know this better than anybody. Kawhi, I mean, he's one of the most clutch big game killers in the history of the NBA, isn't he?
No doubt. I mean, it's incredible how many big plays, timely plays, winning plays he makes on both ends of the floor. That's the thing that kills you. It's like he'll just get a steal when they need it most, and it's almost like he can do it on demand, you know, or he'll lock down and get a key block or something like this. But he's incredible. He, for as great as he is, I would say he's still underrated. He just doesn't get, and some of it's been injuries, of course, that have kind of hijacked maybe the narrative around him. He's also not, he's a very quiet personality. He's all business. And his game is just so simple and so repeatable and at times unstoppable. So he is one of my favorite players in the league for all those reasons.
Hey, man, call you next week, and congrats to you and the staff for the All-Star Game honor and the 35 and 15. Chris, it's awesome chatting with you every single week. Greatly appreciated. Safe travels.
Thanks, PA. Take care.
Yep, see you, buddy. That's Chris Finch, coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, courtesy of Prize Picks, Daily Fantasy Made Easy, and Second Harvest Heartland, and twoharvest.org. Here's the con.
The Fan and the Big Ten basketball tournament want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword Bills. The keyword is Bills. Enter it, and maybe win $1,000.
KFAN, the Fan.
The second half of the 9 to noon radio show. It is post time for Howl Bites, orchestrated by Eric Nordquist and provided by.
Yes, absolutely. Today's edition, Vikes Bites becoming Howl Bites, is brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed. Grass-fed beef. Delicious beef. You can shop online, thousandhillslifetimegrazed.com.
You got something weird up your sleeve here, don't you?
I absolutely do. Thank you to Thousand Hills. Nothing weird about that. But
I don't like it when you're in control of a segment and you don't tell me what it's going to be, because then it's probably going to be something sneaky.
Well, if you were tuned into the Fan on Friday evening and you entered the second quarter of Wolves and Orlando Magic, you heard this.
PA, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, and I'm ready, too. I mean, as McLaughlin crosses the half-court line, that's an M there, racing, and he's back to pass, looks left, shakes the shoulders, fires it over to Kyle Anderson, but the play is stopped due to, that's how you call a game, right?
That's how it's done. You know how it's done.
Seriously,
how did you like that, PA? Just off the top, doing the game with Alan Horton during the second quarter.
Loved every second of it. I couldn't believe how quickly it went. First time I've done something like that, having Dave Handelin, Real Stats Dave, Super Stats Dave, somebody I've known for a long time through Canterbury Park, there, because he's Alan's statistician.
Yeah.
Dave has the quirky gene. Some would say I do too. And so therefore, Dave and I are just very comfortable with each other. And like having him there was like a human blankie, like I don't know, like your favorite pillow or
a little nookie blankie. It was a comfort zone. Absolutely. But so I'm going to run through a few of these audio clips and you can just react. Tell me what was going on. A lot of grunting and noises in the background of this one.
Have been up by as many as 15 in the opening quarter. A force of magic turnover. Here's J-Mac on the push. To the right side, Nas. He's on the run along the baseline. Stops and kicks out. J-Mac, extra pass. Kyle, corner. Three ball, yes. Sixth of the season.
And see, Nas Reed knows they start teaching at a very young age. You don't pick up your dribble down by the baseline under the basket. So he got caught in a compromising spot, kicked it out to slow-mo, and here we go.
So you might have had Nookie Blankie, but how excited were you?
I mean, come on. You've been with me for a decade.
I'm 2 minutes into it. I heard the first. Oh.
Yeah, well, and it's radio, so they can't see, but there was a behind-the-back pass to somebody in the corner, and it's like Alan's describing it beautifully, and it was a beautiful pass. I think Markelle Fultz or Cole Anthony made it, and then I just went, hey. Like, wow, that was beautiful, but you have no idea. You have no idea what was happening. Yeah, I don't know why I went into complete old school with that last clip you played. Hey, Billy, Johnny, Christy, Susie, Tamika, Antoine. Never pick up your dribble by the baseline, specifically under the basket, and no bounce passes in the key, and no passing while you're jumping. I went old man teacher on that. That was cool.
And then things went the wrong way. Orlando making plays.
Here is Anthony back the other way. And lay into, Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
And it's 43-30. 13-point Timberwolves lead. A couple of minutes into the second quarter. Paul Allen along with me here. Towns going to work on Isaac. Backs him down. 2 feet in the paint. Turns, got stripped, and now a kick ball on Towns.
Ever since I got up here, everything's gone pear-shaped.
Well, yeah, I'm a snap out of it. You've been with me long enough to know that I'll snap out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at, let's just say, the NFL and sports differently over the course of the last year, and we'll just leave it at that from somebody racetrack raised and trained over 3 decades. So when it comes to the prognosticating or making predictions, hasn't been as great as it has been in the past, even just on the fly, as the John Oates to Alan Horton's Darryl Hall. Every single time I said, I'll let him shoot. Swish from 22. Jalen Suggs, Minnehaha Academy, 3-time state champion. Only reason he didn't win a 4th is because of the pandemic. Went for 17 and 4.5 steals as an 8th grader for Minnehaha Academy. And then he pulls up from 23. I'm like, let him shoot. Just swish right in my face.
One of my favorite moments from you joining Alan Horton, Friday Night Lights, second quarter at Target Center, Stifle Tower.
Fultz hands it back. Here's Franz Wagner working against Rudy in the lane. Bad idea. There it is. The block shot from Rudy.
Stifle, France over Germany.
Edwards left side. Here's Gobert around Banchero. Lays it up and in.
Rudy's like, Franz, je m'appelle Rudy. You better know my name.
You got Alan Horton. You got him.
What happened to me right there?
You stopped him in his tracks.
Yeah, I'm driving down there and thinking about it, and you know as well, if not better, that I don't craft lines. So I mean, it's I think about them, and if it works, it works. If it's a 61-yard Minneapolis Miracle, God puts that on the tongue. Excellent. If not, that's fine too. But I was driving down there thinking about Franz Wagner. Because people often drive to games in cornfields thinking about Franz Wagner.
Indeed.
So I was thinking about Franz Wagner, hoping Okeke. Hopefully Okeke didn't get in, so I didn't drop an Okiki on him. So I'm thinking about all that, and then I'm like, for Franz, if he does something well, I'm thinking Ishai's Franz, you better know my name. And then now Stifle goes all Stifle Tower on Franz, and it was a frenzy in the key, and he was just swatting shots and everything. And so that was cool, and that was fun, and that was different and out of the ordinary. But then somebody from the Magic came back the other way. Markelle Fultz, he can't shoot. I just made it from 28. Damn, man, I'm 0 for 3. Every time League Freak made it into the mix.
I heard that. Wendell Carter.
Yeah, the League Freak is life. The 22-year, 3-year fantasy basketball league I've been in. Con's been in it for 5, 6, or 7 now. King of the Roofs, Jimmy K, Doogie, it's the Lions, just the best of the best. So we're all in that thing. We compete every day. And you know, I have Franz Wagner, Anthony Edwards, and Wendell Carter Jr. on my team. Well, I mean, there are a lot of L's in Wendell.
Yeah.
A lot of L's in that name, so I didn't want to use him.
You had a quote saying he shouldn't have gotten off the bus.
He shot an air ball from the corner while I'm getting maybe a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I think this is it here.
Up by a dozen of the Wolves.
Where's Jalen Suggs?
17 is what the Wolves have led by. Suggs has been out since the opening quarter. Here's Carter in the corner, well short on the 3.
Well, Wendell Carter Jr., might as well have stayed on the bus. He's kicked one off his leg, and now he just shot an air ball from the corner. Who in the heck shoots an air ball when you're open from a corner 3?
J-Mac misses a 3 from the corner. Rudy tapped it back out, but Cole Anthony's quickest to it. Drives in on Nas. Tough fall away off glass, no.
Timberwolves fans, I never again want to hear calls only go against the Timberwolves. Cole Anthony got fouled twice, and the second one should be a felony in 38 states.
Well, yeah, he did. He got murdered. But then with Wendell Carter Jr., he shoots that air ball. I'm thinking about League Freak. I'm taking on King of the Rubes, Jimmy Knutson, who's in the stands, shoots an air ball in a wide open corner 3, and I'm like, man, I knew I should have used Cam Whitmore over Wendell Carter Jr. Yeah, that's not narrow casting. It was so much fun. So much fun. I'm used to doing the play-by-play, so it was different. Alan just gets it, man. And I've known Alan for a long time, but to do that job by himself,
yeah,
as long as he has, as succinctly, professionally, and accurately as he has for coming up on 2 decades now. I just got a lot of admiration for Alan Horton, and I find what he does because I listen all the time. I think I even dropped CCO on KFAN.
I heard that.
Where I'm like, back when I was listening to you on CCO, you've worked by yourself. And then he didn't know where I was going with it. So
I knew where you were going.
Yeah. I have reverence for that because that means you get your pay, the analyst pay, and the sideline analyst pay. Well done, young man. So I set that one up and I felt good about it, but it just went so fast.
Yeah, it did.
I looked up. I'm like 4 minutes to go in half. And then Super Stats David Hanlon. He kept holding up these Post-it notes with like -7. Okay, or 7-0 run. So he's trying to make it football-esque because he's clever that way. Horton bit into it because he's elite. But then right at the end, as Alan and Cal Soderquist are like, all right, man, have fun, blah, 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 stop by anytime. Stats puts up -7 while I was on the radio. Oh, come on, man. I got -7. I got my fantasy center shooting air balls from the corner. I'm trying to start strife between France and Germany, and I'm still freaking out that I remembered when Dick Motta, coach of the Washington Bullets, said they're down like 3-1 or 3-2 to the San Antonio Spurs, I think. Sixers or Spurs. I think it was the Spurs with Iceman Cometh, Larry Keenan, Mark Olberding, Minnesota Go Crazy. And then Dick Motta, his quote to the media was, "The opera ain't over till the fat lady sings." Go ahead and do that one first round of the playoffs, Finchy. See how well that thing goes.
So you mentioned it. You don't write these bits down. What comes to you, comes to you.
Well, you know that.
And I absolutely know that. But when you're on your way to Target Center thinking about Franz Wagner, the only more obscure name might be Nick Anderson.
But Banchero, he needs a little bunny like that against the Wolves. He shoots terribly against the Wolves.
Yeah, 2 games he's
like
been
8 of 22 earlier.
2 of his worst games of his career have been against the Timberwolves.
Here he comes, and he's a try.
He was -30 in the first
Look
game.
at this.
Banks one in over Nas.
Out here channeling his inner Nick Anderson.
So Banchero makes it a 10-point game here, 51-41. 4:33 left. Edwards up top. Wagner's on him. Franz Wagner.
Got a fan up here, man. It's kind of hot.
Listen on the deck with left-handed dribble step through, runs into Carter, lost it, and comes up.
I was hot, but I also had caught word that that there would be a certain super successful rapper at the Wolves-Rockets game on Sunday. So, which he was there yesterday. He was sitting right next to A-Rod. So I was kind of, already thinking about, it's a hot air. So, yeah. So, oh, no way. That's Nelly.
That is Nelly, yeah.
What 50 Cent do? Big 50 Cent song.
Yeah. What is it?
Shake a tail feather.
No, that's Nelly too.
Damn. Oh, when the sun goes down.
Yeah, well, why can I not remember?
What's a 50 Cent song?
He does that. Oh,
in a hot hell.
No, it's. Gosh, I don't know what his songs are. 21 Questions. Do we even have them in the system? There we go. Oh, In the Club. That's right.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, put the power hour provided by, I think it's Quantum something. Put the camera on us right now, bouncing around.
That's not a great idea.
This is It's Your Birthday. It's your birthday. I'll tell you right now. And if AJ, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Bossberg, Alexander, anybody, Legret, all the way up to Legret, if they want to put together charitable funds or prize money for which of the core four, Trip, 9 to noon, program, bumper to bumper, has the best dancers. I mean, we're minus 980 in that thing because you can do the, you do that, what's the, not the line dance, not the country one, the heart something. Cupid.
Cupid Shuffle?
I saw you do the Cupid Shuffle one time. I was mesmerized. And, for an old guy with 3 chins who hasn't felt his ribs in 30 years, I can move a little bit too. We are the best dancers of all of the radio shows here, right?
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, it's a cinch.
No, it's easy.
Yeah, we'll videotape it. 30 seconds each for a charity. Show against show against show against show. You start, and then I kind of like rolling.
And you'll be behind me.
I'll roll in behind you, doing
the robot.
The robot. I was going to say the clown thing, which we go over as well in 2024 as the operating over to the fat lady sings. I appreciate you doing that. That's cool, man.
No, it was fun. It was cool to hear you guys together. It made ultimately the fourth quarter went completely haywire. Wolves lose that game, but that was a fun broadcast, man. I'm glad you were able to do that. It was cool.
Right on. Thank you, Alan.
So that's Howl Bites on this particular day, brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef.
News du Nord and more around the corner. Then Mike Grimm. Vox for Golden Gophers basketball and the Northwestern victory around
on the Fan.
Following Decon now. What's up?
News du Nord brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park. CanterburyPark.com. Poker, blackjack, table games all year round. Bingo on Tuesdays. Live racing in the spring. And we'll start with this. We'll get back to the Howl momentarily. Minnesota Wild. They're back at it. They're off the break, and it's Wednesday at the Blackhawks. You're going to get to hear that right here on your home for Wild Hockey, the Fan. The Minnesota Wild in dire straits, really. 7 points out of a playoff spot with, I believe, 32 or 33 games left to go. So the sprint begins for your favorite hockey team, and it starts Wednesday, hopefully with a win at United Center. Now to the Howl, splitting the weekend. Here's a little bit of action from Friday night.
Caro hits 36% of his threes. He takes 4 a game. 7-0 Magic run. They're within 7.
See, that was, since you got the Vikings play-by-play guy with you, of course, Statsy shows you a 7-0 touchdown shutout.
Here's Towns right side, drives in and hammers it through with 2 hands.
Gone with that kitty cat, cruising down the lane, slamming on everything and putting an O around the game.
Putting an end to a 7-0 Magic run. Wolves by 9.
That's Vox Alan Horton and analyst Paul Allen on the call. You're home for the Howl, 100.3 FM, The Fan. They lose that one, and sadly, on Friday night to the Orlando Magic. They bounced back yesterday, and they just hammer on the visiting Houston Rockets. It was announced, it is confirmed that Chris Finch, you heard him on these airwaves earlier, he will be the head coach for the All-Star festivities in Indianapolis. But I must just sit here with this, PA. Okay, split, tops in the West, digging all of that. All-Star game festivities, that's all cool. But I'm curious, though. Trade deadline on Thursday for the NBA.
Oh, wow.
And so just quick twitch, whether you were near courtside, or I guess you're elevated when you were doing the bit with Horton on Friday. But just thinking about this team, what do you think they need?
Well,
whether they acquire somebody or not, but is there a particular thing you think that this team needs as they move forward towards the playoffs?
I mean, several things, but I'm not, as I shared via text message with Sex Panther yesterday, I'm not trading Franz Wagner for Terry Rozier. So stop trying to rip me. So then I think about going to the con, trying to get some of those assists that he has, but those are going to be difficult to get. And so therefore I think we're probably just going to let the league freak trade deadline come and go without making any form of move. As the reality of it goes,
you already ripped me off.
I still think they could use, it's Taurean Prince was here. I ain't saying trade for Taurean, but Torian's on a little bit of a tear right now for the self-proclaimed Kings team. Now, he's playing in the 30s. He's hitting threes. His shooting percentage, for the most part, has been pretty good, which has always been a problem with Taurean. He rebounds a little bit, 5, 6, 7 a game, and he steals it. So somebody like that, it's the Wolves are 35-15, and that's the best record through 50 since 03-04. And that year, they beat Denver in the first round of the playoffs with MB3. Latrell Sprewell, Sam the man on the fan, hung guy run around the house, hung guy run the house, hung guy run my house, and Kevin Garnett. And the Denver series was fun, but I didn't really I was at all the games, home that is, but I didn't get a chance to watch the game closely enough because they had a point guard named Andre Miller, and I'm a big fan of the musical stylings of an R&B artist named Babyface, and they look exactly alike.
I always love that one.
So I kept waiting for Andre to stop at half court and sing the Star Spangled Banner, followed by Whip Appeal.
I always love that one.
And I tried to get an interview with Kiki Vandeweghe, their general manager, and he low-key told me to bleep off.
I always love that one.
But that was all right. So then in the Sacramento series, I watched a lot of that series, but I couldn't really focus on the game because Flip Saunders had told the radio show during that series, Peja Stojakovic's his lethal weapon is not showering before games.
I always love that one.
So therefore, nobody would get close to him by the 3-point arc Davy because of his odor.
I always love that one.
So then I started calling him Peja Stinkovic, and I don't think Doug Christie liked that. But then they played the LA Lakers, and Kareem Rush got super hot, and Sam Cassell's back went bad, and so on. So you go back from now all the way to then, and they had that MB3, but the ancillary pieces, World, as in Wally, and Trenton Hassel 1 year, Anthony Peeler 1 year. So who is the MB3 here? Okay, it's Ant, Cat, and Stifle.
Yep.
So Ant, Cat, and Gobert. So what do they do to complement each other? I mean, that's a conversation for a different day. But off that's how you advance through the playoffs. McDaniels, love him. He's been way in and out with certain things. I think he's on a little bit of an influential role right now. But Friday night, I mean, he fouled a guy late in the game. Just didn't make any sense. And so then after that, what do you have? Conley, Mike, off an extended layoff, he's been looking a little tired nearing the end of these games. And then Finch, talked about it a little bit in Orlando. But he'll get up to speed, and he's the floor general. So just think of Naz Reid's the bomb. So just somebody to complement, what's up, Grimmer? All of them.
Yeah.
And hit threes, get a couple of rebounds, specifically offensive rebounds if you can. Steal the ball a little bit and just don't get in the way of MB3. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I like, Jordan McLaughlin, hopefully that can be a thing that helps with the Conley spot. The Shake what thing? Yeah. I mean, it's just, see, that's where whether it was Jalen Noel prior to him, it's Shake now. Like, it just is, if there's a little bit of pop that could be found off the bench once in a while, that would be nice.
I got, I haven't chatted with Chris off the record about Shake. Benjamin Malik Shake Milton or Malik Benjamin Shake Milton. And I haven't talked to him on the radio about it. It's not like I'm afraid to ask him, but it's just, I just know either from what you heard on the radio or me talking to him on the side, how excited they were to have Shake Milton come off the bench and I think give them 17 to 23. I mean, and it's Shake crickets. Holy cow.
Well, that looked like what the arc was when he came from Philly, and then it just hasn't happened. You still have that Shake Milton written segment from last summer.
It's gone.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that stinks.
Well, his father's nickname was Milk. And he played Division I basketball or the NBA. His nickname was Milk, so then, of course, they called his son Shake. And that's what drew me into the story. I mean, Shake got to change his name to Lake Milton. I mean, because he's just taking nothing but L's.
That's News du Nord. If there's time, a couple of Vikings Nuggets and maybe some Super Bowl-related conversations later, 9 to noon. But that's News du Nord brought to you by The Casino, CanterburyPark.com.
Just to add one thing in there, because we had the bus call last week, which is old school, best school, 9 to noon, 10 to 1, PA and Dubé. The Golden Gophers hockey team pulled a big upset on Friday night, and the guy we had on the radio show, Oliver Miller, that happy kid, he scored a huge goal on Friday night.
Oliver did?
Oliver Miller, go crazy.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then they took a tie on Saturday, but still excellent work by Bob Motzko's team against Bucky. And, per usual, you'll hear more of that 9 to noon. A, than anywhere else. B, you probably couldn't care less. But C, the Frozen Force here at XL Energy Center. So 9 to noon in instinctive fashion starts ramping that bad boy up in early February with a bus call, and they won Friday night, and the guy on the phone scored. So we're really excited about that. We're also really excited about
Fox.
Mike Grimm calls Gophers football and basketball, and he called that OT victory with Dawson Garcia taking over in overtime and getting all the shine. He joins us in studio around the corner. Grimmer next on KFAN.